Hi everyone, my name is Ying Shen, and today my presentation is about 7 tips that foster student success, which is mainly based on Jeff Michel's study. And here is a brief introduction about Jeff Michel. Jeff Michel has more than 25 years of education experience as a classroom teacher, leader, professor, author, and education consultant. His work focuses on increasing student achievement, improving instructional effectiveness, measuring and scaffolding teacher transformation, engaging learners in student-centered environments, transforming learning in STEM and STEAM schools, improving formative assessments, and aligning standards with curriculum assessments and instruction. I have also attached a picture of this book and the ISBN. If you want, you can buy it on Amazon. Okay, so let's start with tip A. Tip A is about learning progression and connectedness of learning. This tip comes first because it's crucial to help build and support success. Before we are going to give a lesson, we may think about how it will look like. A lesson must be well aligned. The standards, the objectives, and the lessons and the lesson and the assessments should be fully considered. As teachers, we know how rapidly the world is changing, so we need to check our knowledge to stay updated and maximize accuracy. We also need to be open to questions and mistakes. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Only when we know where to improve, we can make changes. As for the connectedness of learning, I personally think it's very important. I work in a preschool. If I simply ask students to memorize like 4 plus 5, it will be so boring and the students will quickly lose their interests. But if I relate it to how many candies you will have, then in total kids can get attracted at once. It works for students of other ages as well. This issue is teachers should think about how to connect class knowledge to students' lives. Okay, next is tip 2. Tip 2 is about student-centered strategies, resources, and technologies. It's to engage learners and transform passive learners to active learners. Teachers always want to engage their students, but how? Teachers have to deliver the knowledge in a concrete way. If the knowledge is too abstract for students to understand, how can they move forward? Concrete, yes. Abstract, no. Like for preschool kids, if I tell them our earth is big, can they understand? How big is big? So we have to provide examples to help them have a relatively concrete concept of what is big. Maybe we can compare our earth to the objects they already know and they already seen in our real life. Also, let students to take the lead, let them to take control in some degree. If they are in charge, they will absolutely have no time to get distracted. Is that right? And now it's common to have technology in our classroom. We have computers, projectors, and we use various learning websites. So what we need to consider is how to improve the effectiveness of technology. A SAMR model is what we recommend in this tip, SAMR model is a framework that categorized 4 different degrees of classroom technology integration. I strongly recommend every teacher to have a look at this model if you want to apply technology in your teaching. Tip 3 is about classroom flow and classroom interactions. It's to improve time efficiency and engage students. Teachers' success is highly dependent on their strengths in classroom management. Teachers always feel the classroom is so limited and they don't have enough time to tell everything they want to tell. So how to solve these problems? Transitions are important. Also, behavior management is significant as well. If a student or some students always interrupt the class a lot and the teacher spend a lot of time on these problems, times will always be not enough. Teachers should keep students create positive habits and routines in the beginning and repeat them as often as possible. Following good routines ensures the classroom to run smoothly. You can lead your students to take the lead and allow them some freedom to explore as I mentioned above, but please also remember you are the teacher. Tip 4 is about culture of challenging and instructional challenging. If students are appropriately challenged, they will be willing to learn more, and it also helps to build confidence and perseverance. One thing we have to pay attention is that we need to match the challenge to students' current ability and provide some support is necessary. Students can be better engaged if they face appropriate challenges, but if it's too hard, they could run away instead. So how to solve the challenges is also we want to consider. Our goal is not to prepare students for the end of course exam and let them to bring grade A to go home. We want to develop their ability, confidence, persistence, perseverance that could benefit them lifetime. Tip 5 is about culture, interactivity, and the depth of engagement to build an interactive software learning environment. So students in my preschool classroom love role plays and they enjoy interact with peers. Teachers should provide chances for students to encourage interactions because creating a culture of high participation may involve learning from others. Also, please don't make your questions boring if you want to engage students. Students can absolutely go beyond the yes or no questions. Please ask how and why. Open-ended questions are always welcomed. Also, again, our ultimate goal is to engage students, relate students' real lives and emotions, please. Tip 6 is about creative culture and the problem-solving environment is to encourage students to be creative and to develop their abilities of solving problems. Teachers can try this recommended hourglass approach of learning if you are interested. This approach is to encourage students to continue their research after they already understand the concept. Our students can be curious, creative, and potential, so please do allow opportunities for students to create. Don't tell our students everything in the beginning. I will not tell my students what it looked like after we mix the color yellow and red. I will let them to find out themselves. Multiple perspectives are also recommended. Don't limit our students in our adult version, and sometimes they can surprise us. Okay, the last tip is about feedback guiding learning and formative assessment, and it's my favorite part. Both teachers and students want to know how's the class going so they can better continue. Feedback can come from both teachers and students, and feedback does not need to focus solely on the negative. It's more important to contain some specific information in our feedback. As for the formative assessments, the strategies are important. Formative assessments don't mean endless homework, quizzes, or tasks. In my preschool classroom, formative assessments occur in the game, group discussion, parent communication, and many other forms. So be creative. Okay, that's all of my presentation, and thank you for your listening.